How's everyone today? Welcome, welcome. Faye West is here. How are you this morning? Four-eyed thrifter. That's cute. Welcome. So read the show notes. Make sure you take a copy of everything that's in the show notes. Unlike last night, I do have my show notes in there. If you were in my show last night, I was like, read the show notes. And everyone's like, there's nothing there. And I was like, the show notes disappeared. And then I realized I hadn't put anything in there. It's like, oh, dope. So don't do that. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining. Handsies, needle, and glue. So, yeah, if you're ever down on yourself and thinking that, you're not doing things well enough or good enough or whatever, just come watch me and remember that even established sellers make stupid mistakes all the time. So we're all just human. Good morning. How are you? No show this morning? Or did you already do one? You're already up for hours, huh? No show today. All right. Madison, welcome. Lex Bush, how are you? So last night, if you missed that show, we talked about strategies for how to get people in your shows, how to keep them there, things. We just really did a big brainstorming session about different strategies. So if you missed that show, go rewatch it on YouTube. Hopefully you got something out of it that you can use. And I was thinking after we were done, I was like, people probably come and watch our shows and think, well, you sure give a lot of advice, but do you actually use it yourselves? I mean, we do, but I'm not the biggest seller in my category. I'm just one of the old people in the category. But here's the difference. I have a very specific goal, what I want to do on Whatnot, and we achieve our goals. That's what matters. I don't care. I mean, sometimes I care. I can't say I don't care. It does bother me sometimes that other people have surpassed me in, amount of sales or number of sales or number of followers or all those other margins. But honestly, when it comes down to it, what matters is what my goals are, what I need to achieve, and what amount of work I can handle. So, you have to be realistic with yourself and stop comparing every little thing to what everybody else is doing. And I know that's hard. It's just part of human nature, but we're human, exactly. So, be focused on your goals, on what's important for you. And here's the bottom line for me. My husband and I are in that plus 55 category, and we're making more right now than we ever both did combined. So let that sink in. And that's enough. If we do too much more, then we will be exhausted and not functional. So you got to have what you want as a goal. Stay focused on that. Yeah, Vintage Six says, I surpassed my corporate salary last year as a financial analyst. Isn't that ironic, right? So it can be done. You can achieve what you need to achieve. Don't compare yourself to someone else who has different goals. And the other thing to keep in mind is you don't know their back end. You don't know what they spend to be what they're at. You don't know their expenses. You don't know the other problems they've had in their lives. Sometimes you listen to some of these people who are doing well, and they're actually, someone who's made some hard, or not made, they are people who have hit rock bottom multiple times and are barely making it because they've had to pay off previous, you know, entrepreneurial um, endeavors that they had before, you know? So, yeah, you just have to be, focused on what matters for you. And yes, do not go into debt to be a seller. That is a big mistake. And some of these big sellers did that and they're having to dig themselves out of a big hole, right? So, yeah, focus on what is important for you, what you can handle. So, yeah. That is, yeah, old lady's attic. That is the key. What you can or want to handle exactly. And at this point, I don't want to be sourcing 24 hours a day. I want to eat bonbons. I am totally with you, right? I want to be able to have time to enjoy my 55 plus years. I have a little granddaughter, my only one so far, and every moment I can spend with her is precious. So I want to have that time. And if I try to do more, I'm not going to have that time. So yeah, Vintage is wanting to go to the beach a lot this summer. See, that sounds amazing. Um, is it's oh, you're 70? Yeah, 62 next month. So you're right there with us, Vintage. That's our age bracket too. Mel and Stella cards, you're 33. You can do whatever you want. You still have the energy and the time. Those of us that are older, maybe not. So Mindy is 53. So, you're still kicking, you know. Yeah, this is a part-time gig for me, Mel says. Yeah. I do too. I wish that I knew when I was 33. I wish I knew. That's the problem with life. You hear old people complain when you're young about all their aches and pains, and you kind of giggle and be like, oh my gosh. And then you hit that age and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I ever made fun of anyone or thought badly or thought they were weird or whatever. I'm like, now I'm the one complaining about my aches and pains. So it will come back to bite you. So be kind. Those of you that are still young, it's real. No matter what you do, no matter how fit you try to be, we are designed to expire. So, yeah, we slowly are dying every day, no matter what you do. So, do the best you can and don't make fun of people that are old. It's a real thing. Yes, your knees are angry at you from running too much in the 80s. I know everyone in the 80s is like, run, run, run. I'm like, I hate running. Why would I do that? So I did not run. My knees are better off for that because of that. But my hips are not happy because I was born with hip dysplasia. And when I was born, they just told parents put a lot of diapers on them to kind of, balance it. And they didn't ever really put me in a brace or anything. So yeah, nope, nothing. I mean, I grew up in a rural area. It was like the doctors were like, well, it's not too bad. Just put double diapers on. I was back in the cloth diaper days. And so my whole pelvis is a little bit off. And so it grinds at my lower back. Yeah, it's really fun. So, yeah. Yeah, mine is just very slight. Every time I have had someone measure it, they're like, well, this leg's just slightly longer than the other. But they're like, but then they look at my lower back and my discs and they're like, yeah. And they just say, well, you can put a lift in one shoe if you want. That might help a little bit. Nobody ever really gives me any, they're just kind of like, it's your life. So, yeah. And I do that too. I have a lift in one shoe. It helps slightly, but um and one doctor told me, he's like, don't wear flip flops or sandals or any kinds of shoes like that. Always wear. And I'm like, life is not worth living if you can't wear anything pretty your whole life. So I don't know. Yeah. And I lived in Arizona at the time. The thought of wearing closed shoes forever, I was just like, no, we live in Arizona. We wear flip flops. I mean, hello. Yeah, the foot doctor says flip flops are the enemy. I agree in that sense, but you can get ones that are more supportive. I mean, you can wear Birkenstocks, although those are kind of ugly too. All right, welcome in everybody. Thanks for joining. Read the show notes and let me know what you need help with. So, yeah, you can get those fit flops that are, have arch support and all that stuff. So, yep, ask away. What do you need help with? Um, read the different things in the show notes and then go into my auction tab. So I want to collab with people in other categories. What do you suggest? Try and get into some raid trains that are cross category. So there's a lot of raid trains where they don't even care what category you sell in. Don't be insulting my Birkenstocks. I know I had some too. I don't wear them now. I live in Utah. I wear mostly closed shoes here just because it's colder and the climate is not really conducive to wearing sandals a lot. But a lot of people here wear their Birks with socks. So, if you're a Birk person, I have a son who likes the oh my gosh, what are they called? Crocs. He and his girlfriend wear Crocs everywhere, and I'm like, Crocs are kind of ugly, but they love them and they're comfortable. So, and they live in Washington, so it kind of makes sense because everything's wet there, and you can just wear Crocs and wipe them off. So, how do you even know if someone is hosting a raid train cross category? So you just go to the For You page, type in raid train, and look for raid trains. And if you see that everybody in that raid train is all in different categories, then you know it's a cross category raid train because they'll do like a theme. So they'll pick something like, I don't know, spring is coming or something like that, but everybody's a different category. But they do something in that rate train where everybody's doing a spring theme or something. So let's see, I'm only invoked with other playing card seller rate trains because I talked to them. Yeah, so you might have to branch out a little bit because trading cards, playing cards, um, are you talking specific, like you sell only Pokemon or what is that other one? What kind of cards do you sell? So, because if it's very, very, very niche and specific, that might be hard because it would be really hard to sell, um, you know, a a specific game to people in a cross category raid train that don't buy cards. So playing cards like the 52 card deck. Oh. So that actually sells really well in ephemera and junk journaling. So if you have oldie goldie ones that you sell as singles, yes, people are using them for junk journaling. So you can get into some raid trains in the craft category, and they even have raid trains that are card raid trains. So look for that. So when you go into search, go into other craft supplies. And that's where the junk journal people hang out. And look for raid trains and, look around because I don't know if there's one going on right now, but they do have, raid trains that are specific to playing cards. So, yeah. Oh, one is starting right now. Oh, okay. Yeah. So there you go. and that's a different category than maybe the trading card category. And then you can kind of make some inroads with people who sell other kinds of crafts, and you'll get people coming to your shows just because they love to pick up old playing cards. Yeah, for sure. Because because those other people are more broad. They sell the ephemera, they sell the junk journal stuff, they sell the ink and the pens and the, paper and all the other stuff you use to craft with, ribbons, fabric, all that stuff. And then you'll get some other people who, will cross over from those other categories into crafting for sure. Let's see. Yes, sometimes people won't get back to you, and if they don't, it's probably because they do invitation only type raid trains, so don't discourage about that. Also would look under ephemera, because trading card or playing cards really are, especially the old vintage ones, are really an ephemera thing. So, look under ephemera, which is actually under vintage. So I think you can, look for it under that as well. So, hey, Lynn's Vintage, how are you this morning? I just realized I filled my water and then I didn't actually get my water to my treadmill, and I'm like going, what? So give me 1 second while I grab my water so that I can keep talking. All right, I'm back with my water so that I can keep talking. All right. You're working. Oh, good. You have a show today? Awesome. What are you going to sell today? Did we get rated? Oh, well, of course, while I get up to get my water, we get a raid. Cheap Girl Fabrics, thank you for the raid. Hey, everybody, check out Cheap Girl Fabrics. She is someone to watch. I'll tell you why. She has lots of good ideas, and she is organized, and she is on top of things. So make sure you're following Cheap Girl Fabrics and bookmark her upcoming shows. She's got a show tomorrow, and go watch how she does flash sales. Flash sales are highly underutilized and can be a huge part of your business. And she's doing this raid train that I'm in as well. And then she's also sponsoring, let me find it. Where's the other one that we're doing? The feud raid train. I'm missing it somehow. Did I go past it already? What date is our feud raid train? Or are you not doing it? You're just helping with it. The 20th. Okay, so here we go. The 20th is the raid train. She just doesn't have her themed thumbnail on there yet. So, yeah. I mean, she does lots of good stuff and is very organized and has lots of good ideas. So go watch her and get some ideas, and also buy her fabric. So she's a good seller. All right. Let me catch up in chat here. Thank you so much for the raid. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions while I was running to get my water. I'm gonna mod you, Vintage, because I always get mixed up if I don't have mods. So there we go. Okay. So welcome in everybody. Thanks for joining. Please also follow Vintage Chick. She's an amazing seller, has amazing stuff, has good ideas. And honestly, really just network. And there are some sellers whose mindset is like they have one toe in the community, but honestly, their heart is kind of they feel competitive. And on this platform, if you are feeling very much the, anti competition attitude, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you. People like it when other sellers are collaborative and friendly and helpful. It brings that bad vibes when people are kind of eat about it. Does anyone agree with me? Hip Chick just raided. Thank you for the raid. So, yeah, we grew this platform as a community, and it was the original intent. Go watch that interview with the CEO. His original intent was a place where people can come and interact and socialize and buy and sell and trade at the same time. That was their original intent. Here is Hip Chick, who just rated us. Love your logo and your backdrop. How cute is that? And their next show, Maxine, is tomorrow, 7:30, mornings with Maxine. And so it looks like you do like shows almost every day, morning shows, just little chat shows. And then she's selling Ralph Lauren on the 15th. That's one of my weaknesses. I love Ralph Lauren stuff. And women's contemporary on the 19th, little black dress, the 22nd men's modern. Please go in and bookmark her upcoming shows. Thank you so much for the rate. My screen is black. Is my screen black? Mel and Stella Cards, would you mind giving my show a shout out? I'm having a brand new inventory show tomorrow. Sure. Let me go click on your profile. So, Mel and Stella Cards is Melissa, and her show tomorrow at 6, brand new inventory. So, she was telling us she does playing cards. So, lots of people collect playing cards. And so those of you that are in the crafting community definitely should go check out her shows, because she's got, it sounds like, an amazing collection and continues to source really cool playing cards. And she does sell them individually and in bundles, both, right? So that's cool. So make sure you have her shows bookmarked, and she's looking to get into some raid trains to kind of make some friends in other categories. So if you know of some opportunities for her, please reach out. Okay. So you're Melissa and your dog is Stella. So Mel and Stella, there you go. Love it. All right, let's talk about what I share in my shows. Old Ladies Attic says, I'm doing something way out there tomorrow, a scary ghost chat show. Come tell your own stories. Ooh, that sounds fun. So, Old Ladies Attic, I'm just going to play nice here and click on you and look to see what your thumbnail is, because I'm intrigued by that. And it is okay. So, you see, her thumbnail is very specific to that. Ghost cemeteries, haunted happening chat. So everybody go share your ghost stories. That sounds fun. And bookmark that. If it's something I can pop into, I will, because that sounds fun. I like those kind of fun. I mean, I do not watch horror movies. To me, those are retarded and stupid. But I do like a good ghost story, like something that actually happened, or, you know, kind of that down that vibe, you know? So that's kind of fun. All right, let's see. Pansy, needles, and glue. Did I miss something from you? Yeah, if you didn't put a question mark, I probably missed it. So let me look and see. I'm having trouble going live. Everybody can see me, but I can only see the chat in my screen on the other phone is black. So when you go live, all right, so are you going live from your phone? Because you need to, when you start a show, you need to stream from your phone. And then you're saying the other phone that you use to try and mod is black. Yes, you need to press the switch direction to face the other way. That's my guess too. So if you have it on like a little stand and you haven't switched the direction, it's on your screen. Let me put this down. See this little button right here that says switch? You need to make sure your camera is set for facing forward. That's my guess too. But yeah, if it automatically turns on but doesn't sometimes it automatically switches, but most of the time you have to switch it. So try that. When I find nothing to bookmark for her 1001 class tonight. Oh, you guys are talking about CG that does all the raid trains. Why my thing is so weird on here. The chat is hardly showing up today. Let me pull it up big on this one so I can see it better. Her name is CG Boomerang. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's at C, and then I think it's underscore. Yeah, there she is. Right. Oh, I saw her just a second ago. There she is. Yeah, she hosts a lot of raid trains. You're welcome. And they're sort of themed, and a lot of them are kind of like contest type raid trains, but a lot of them are just regular ones. So, and she mostly does Sundays, so I don't participate in most of them because I haven't in years, because they almost always do them on Sundays, and I don't do shows on Sundays. So, are they doing them on other days as well? Yeah, I'll have to go check it out and see. I honestly have been focused more on just the raid trains kind of happening in our category, because if I get into too many, I get overwhelmed. So, oh, you're so welcome. Indiana meetup. Oh, cool. So, yeah, the meetups are so fun, you guys. In my show notes, go to the hub that Whatnot created. It's called meetups.whatnot.com, I think is what it is. It's in my show notes, the last start bullet. And you can go there and see if there are meetups happening that you can make it to. And you can also apply if you want to host a Whatnot sponsored one. They don't always approve them all, but are they advertising the ones that aren't Whatnot sponsored? I don't know. I need to look at that. But anyway, that's super cool. You've gone to too many. They're a lot of fun, aren't they? So we did one here in Utah, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah, and they don't have to be a big thing. You can just organize one and you don't have to pay for it. You can just have everybody come and, be, if you go somewhere you're going to eat, everybody just pays for themselves. Or you can go somewhere, meet at a park, meet at a public restaurant that, maybe has a big room they'll let you use, but you didn't necessarily have to reserve it, that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what I was trying to get to here is you can click on my shop button, and instead of in buy it now, go to the auction tab. And I have a bunch of documents in there, and they're just informational things that you can use to help you with, all the things that you might need. So make sure you go into my auction tab and look at all of those documents. And the way that you can screenshot something is you just tap the picture, tap it again to make it big on your screen, and then you can take a screenshot of it. So just all kinds of stuff in there. And then if you want to rewatch any of my shows, I multicast on YouTube, and you can go to YouTube, to my YouTube channel, which is in the show notes, second paragraph. Type it in exactly that way, at Draz on Whatnot. And then you can find my channel and go to the lives on my channel. So when you're in my channel, instead of videos, go to lives. And then all my live shows are in there and you can rewatch them. So, there's some that are specific topics. My seller walk and talk chats are, if you want to rewatch those, you can, but they're kind of all over the place like this one. But we do have themed shows like the one we did last night, where we talked specifically about brainstorming ways to help improve getting people in your shows and having them stay. So, Vintage Chick says she thought last night was really good. Good. I was hoping it would be good. I was trying to keep it. I'm very focused on. I used to train in my corporate job. I was a trainer, and so I have a very focused mindset of making sure that you have a specific outline. And the training methodology is you have a specific topic and you show them what it is, and then you reiterate it and you go back and you make sure they got what you were trying to come across. And so I try to make sure that you actually get some content out of it, because I know a lot of people do chats and seller helps, and sometimes they go in there and I'm like, well, that was fun, but did I get anything really meat out of it that I'm going to actually be able to use? So I try really hard to make sure that you get something useful out of those shows where we have a specific topic that we need to address. These I'm more like all over the place, because we just do whatever people want to talk about or need help with. But even then, I try to provide resources. So, okay, good. I'm glad it came across well. So, yeah. And there's just so many, the way that they've developed this platform, there's so many options for things that you can try and do. It's almost mind-blowingly endless. So if, other than making sure you don't break terms of service, there's some specific terms of service you got to be careful about. But other than that, I mean, the options are almost endless for things that you can do to try and help improve your shows. So, well, thank you, Hip Chick. I appreciate that. I mean, my numbers don't reflect that people get it, but I'm glad that the people who do come get something out of it. And maybe it's because, it's good enough. They don't need to keep coming back. That's probably my hope. You're getting good information and you're taking it and you're going to the bank and it's helpful and you're being successful. And if that's the case, that thrills me. That thrills me because I love it when something that I've said, provided, really helps people, you know, do well on the platform. Did I just see Wonder Woman pop in? Aw, how are you today? Welcome. So, oh, thank you. I try to be. I try to be. It really is one of my goals is to help other people be successful. This platform has changed our lives. It's made it so that we can, semi retire and still have good income and not have to worry about, being in that category where nobody wants you at jobs anymore because you're old. We were facing that. Age discrimination is a real thing. It's a real thing. And it's hard if you have to transition careers at an older age. And so this has made it so that we can ease into retirement and not have to be, you know, the greeters at Walmart, bless their hearts. Sometimes when I go into Walmart, I'm always like, can I tell you about whatnot? Right? So, because that's hard. That's a hard job for an old person to have to be working at Walmart making hardly any money. So, yeah, yeah. But anyway, you were thinking about Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah. Everyone at Lowe's is over 65. Oh, really? I don't think at my Lowe's, but I don't do a lot of home improvement anymore. I've kind of given up on my house because we sell from home and it's like it looks like a hoarder house no matter what I do. So I'm like, why would I invest any money in making my house look nice right now? There's no point. I have a few rooms that are like, I keep them sort of clear. My kitchen doesn't have, I mean, on a good day, my kitchen doesn't have anything in it unless I'm in there cutting fabric. But yeah, the rest of my house is like, yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement. So, yeah, there's definitely a common thread. Like last night, I jokingly said, was talking about, going out and looking at what retailers do. And I'm like, that is if you ever leave your house. And I was joking, but not really. I mean, we leave the house to go to the post office and to get food. And then occasionally we do other things. I mean, we go sourcing, obviously you have to leave the house to source. But even then, it's just like I'm going directly to where I'm picking something up. And a lot of my sourcing is just getting dropped off on my porch. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, working from home has a new meaning. So kind of funny. Sounds amazing to you. Well, there you go. Maybe you need to start selling. So, yeah, I'm kind of a homebody, I admit it. And honestly, if Bert dies before I do, I'll probably never leave the house or I'm going to have to hire someone to drive me around because I hate to drive. I hate driving. I think it's partly just because my night vision is horrible. And then my day vision, it's not the vision, it's I'm so distracted. I'm I'm one of those drivers that has a really hard time focusing on driving because my mind wanders. And it scares me because then I'm like, what am I going to miss something? So, yeah. Can you speak on what specific terms of service we should be careful of? Yes. So, there are some things you're not allowed to sell, very specific things like weapons, like things that are logoed with anti, um, well, like Nazi stuff, or like, very politically charged themed things, stuff like that. You have to be careful about. So go read what you can't sell. You can't sell live animals. You can't sell, I don't know, other people name a few things, so there's some specific things you just have to be careful of. And really, the people that have to be careful with those kinds of things are people who sell like storage units, estates. You could just accidentally bump into something in a box. You've got to be aware that that's something you can't show on your live show. If you pull out, some Nazi stuff, or you pull out some weapons, or, so you got to know about it so you don't get yourself in big trouble, right? So go read terms of service about that. Then the other things you have to be careful about are all the rules about surprise sets. Some people call it mystery. If you try to do any kind of games that would be perceived as gambling, there are very specific rules about how you do that. So be very careful. We have some sellers right now who are breaking the rules, and I don't know if they realize it or if they're just trying to skate by, but you've got to be very careful. And in fact, if you do anything in a show that is, surprise set, mystery, that kind of stuff, you've got to schedule your show under the category. So when you schedule a show, it you have to choose whether it's an auction style show or a surprise set show. And if you do an auction style show but do something in it that is considered a surprise set, you're actually against terms of service because you didn't schedule it in the right category. So that's the big one that people need to be careful about. Also, giveaways. Giveaways have to be transparent, and they have to be an actual physical thing that you mail somebody. So if you give away a gift card, you can mail them, the actual gift card, but you can also email them the code, but you still have to mail them something, whether or not, because you have to fulfill the order. It has to be a physical thing. You cannot give away something towards a future purchase like a coupon. That's against terms of service. You have to, your giveaway can't be free shipping because that's forcing you to have to purchase something in order to use that. So it has to be a physical thing. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, when it comes to a gift card, some people are doing that receipt thing. That's still, they still really should, I don't know, maybe they're doing that because they feel like if it gets lost in the mail, then it never gets fulfilled. I would take a picture of it and email them the picture of the card and the code so they can use it right away, but still mail it. So, that way they've got it, they can use it, and if it gets lost in the mail, they still have it. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then also there's things like if you're doing paper envelopes, whatever you send, like if you're doing giveaways that are gift cards, they can't be valued more than $20. That could get you in trouble. Be careful about giveaways, be careful about mystery, surprise, that kind of stuff. Go read the terms of service. Make sure you understand before you do certain things so that you don't get yourself in trouble. Shill bidding is a thing they're watching for. Shill bidding is where you get family members or friends or other sellers to come into your show and bid. And it's hard to prove if it was intentional or not, but especially don't have anyone that lives in your house under your same IP address bid in your shows. That will get you kicked out faster than lightning. Okay, you'll lose your account permanently. So don't ever have, your husband, your brother, your son, your daughter in the same house, in the same IP address in your show bidding. Yeah, you will lose your account because that's considered shill bidding, because then the impression is they're trying to bid things up to get the bid higher. So, and some people have done that mistakenly, not even realizing it. Their husband's like, oh, I'm going to help her out and, get the bid up a little bit, not even realizing that's illegal. So, yeah. Yeah. So you have to be really careful about that. Um, and even if people suspect that you have someone that's not in your house, but you have a friend that's regularly there, or your mods or whatever, and they're constantly bidding, you can get accused of that, and it could, have to get investigated. So be very careful about that. Yeah. Yeah, read people's reviews. Make sure when you shop with people that you feel good about shopping with someone, because bad reviews can get buried in big sellers and they still may have a 5-star, but you start looking in their reviews and you're like, oh, 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 because if they have enough reviews, it kind of gets buried in there. So definitely scroll down. If you mod, can you still shop? Oh, of course. You can still shop. Just be careful, about making it seem like you're just trying to bid, get the bids up. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, yeah, mods are shoppers too. We just have to, make sure we don't come across as someone who's trying to get the bids up. Yeah. One thing about being a mod too, though, is maybe if you really don't need any of it or want any of it, you can go, I'm the mod and I'm not going to shop. Then it helps you not spend as much money. That's a good try, right? Nice try. Yeah, you try to do that. So there you go. Yeah, it's so hard to do. Exactly. So here's another thing I've been thinking about lately. So a lot of sellers ask me stuff like, why is it that there are certain people that used to be so, such good customers and came to all my shows, and now they don't come anymore? And I said, well, sometimes, they've just kind of, maybe you did or said something, but most likely it's that they can't resist and they've had to excuse themselves. They overbought and they're just like, I just can't go to your shows as much as I would like to because I can't control myself in there. And so don't take it personally if they don't come as often as they used to. That's a real thing. I mean, I've had some customers who literally have had to delete the app because they just couldn't control themselves. And they're like, as much as I love you, as much as I have fun on here, I just can't control myself. They've had to do the AA approach is, okay, I'm here, I'm an addict, I can't, they've had to step away. So, you know, some people just have that kind of personality where they just, they have an addictive personality no matter what it is. And so they have to step away. Yes, you can set spending limits. Um, and that does help some people if they allow it to work, but it's easy. You can just easily go in and remove it, so, you have to kind of do that. Do I sell on other sites? Right now, honestly, the answer is no. Do I still have active accounts on other platforms? Yes. And I think it's important to always have options because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't see anything bad happening on Whatnot. I mean, it's in its infancy, still growing like crazy. It's the hottest thing out there, but you just never know. So you always have to have options as a reseller. So make sure, that if you have other accounts, at least keep it active enough that if you needed to, you could suddenly go back to somewhere else. I think that's just wise advice. Don't put all your eggs in one basket kind of mentality. Um, but I'm all in. I'm all in on Whatnot. We have a joke that I'm on the community support team, and we have a joke that we all bleed yellow. So, we're all in. So, yeah. Kim says, I sell on Etsy and don't know if what I would sell would work on Whatnot. And so my advice on that is you just have to experiment. And if you're selling handmade on Etsy, probably that's somewhat true, and you have to tweak it, and do more of a niche approach or mix it in with supplies, because Whatnot is not, it's not known for handmade. That's not the original intent of the platform. It's not the whole focus of the platform. Whatnot does not give a lot of marketing effort or credence to the handmade category, but it could someday, and there are handmade sellers that are doing well, or at least being somewhat successful. I think it's an amazing platform for handmade if you can get some traction, because unlike the other platforms where you just list and sell, you can actually show and tell and sell. So it's kind of, I mean, if you can make it happen, it's a beautiful thing. So, how long has Whatnot been around? Just found it in December. Their origin is about 2019. So it's pretty new. But, 2019's a few years ago. So, yep, show and tell and sell. Because you can have something that you create, and you can either custom make it for them live, which we have some sellers doing that, or you can show how to make something and then sell the supplies or the kits, to make it, all that kind of stuff. One caution I will have is if you do stuff like that, be careful about sending them somewhere else to get it. Don't verbally or link or list show people where to go buy something, because you're then guiding them off the platform. And that is also against terms of service, especially if it's your own website or your own store on another platform. That's against terms of service. Yes, please educate yourself on terms of service. So, don't advertise in your profile, go visit me at my Etsy shop, such and such. That's against terms of service, because then you're leading people off the platform for sales that benefit you elsewhere. That makes sense? Yeah, it's a big flag. So I have seen some people that have that right in their profile. I'm like, oops. I mean, think about it. That makes sense, right? You're on here selling. Why would the platform be friendly for you to go have them go somewhere else to buy it. Makes no sense. Would that be the same for Facebook for a coupon? No, because your Facebook is social media. Just be careful that if you're guiding people to your social media, that it's not to go there to buy it. So people have Facebook groups where they can socialize, and oh, you can be on my Facebook group, and maybe people are having some little contest or whatever, and they get a coupon to come shop on whatnot or whatever. That's fine. I'm talking about guiding them somewhere else to buy something off the platform. Yeah. So yeah, just be careful about those lines, because those lines could be a thin line of what's acceptable, what's not. So be careful about that. Yep. All right, let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. Let's see. I think I got them all. Oh, and I saw CG come in. Welcome. Yeah, I tagged you because people were asking about raid trains, and someone was specifically asking about you. And I did learn from someone else that you do have raid trains that are not on Sundays. So good to know. All right, let's see. Cowgirl Ford, shop and not do auctions. I saw that question. Shop and not do auctions. I'm not sure what that was. Did I miss that? Do you just ship to US buyers? You can ship outside of the US, but right now, with the way tariffs and everything are going, people mostly are staying within country to buy, because the shipping costs and the tariffs are exponential. So yeah, people are just buying from their own country mostly. When I first started selling on Whatnot, I had some customers, some really good customers that were buying from Canada, a couple of people buying from Europe, and that has just wholly dried up because it's just too expensive. It's too ridiculous. Yeah. So it's sad, but in a lot of ways, it can help them build their business in their own country and be a little bit more successful, because they usually have smaller markets, and they don't have to compete with the US sellers as much, because people are buying from them in their own country. So that's a good thing for them in that way. So, yeah. So LinkedIn is like my portfolio. So I'm not sure what that is. Humor. Did I miss something there too? Sorry if I keep missing things. Let me go back to questions. Let's see. Let's see what can you just have a shop and not do auctions? Yes, but I'll be honest with you, you're not going to get anywhere, because it's the way the platform is designed. Is there a marketplace? Can you sell stuff out of your marketplace shop? Yes. But are you going to sell anything? Not much. You'll sell something every once in a while, but it's the main part of this platform is doing lives. And then the reason that you usually sell stuff out of your marketplace is someone happens to see it because they came to one of your live shows. So it's a pretty tough marketplace as far as people just coming and searching and buying something. In some niche categories, you probably can get a little bit more traction, but I would say in most categories, it's all about the lives. Yeah, you have to market yourself. Yep. So that's the question I missed. Okay, so then let's see. Let me go back and see if I missed another one. My sister can create her own account and attend my shows. Yes. Um, but again, if she's in your same IP, so like if she's at your house using your Wi-Fi or she lives with you, just be really careful because when you have multiple accounts in the same household, if one of you has a problem, it can get you both booted. So if one of you breaks terms of service and gets booted, it flags that IP address and you can both get booted. So be very careful about multiple selling accounts in the same household, same IP address. So, like in our house, Bert has his own account, but he doesn't sell under his account. He just uses it as account to moderate. And so, and sometimes I use it to shop, because I don't want everyone to know who it is. So I'll sometimes use his account. No, but yeah. So you do have to be very careful. In fact, if you have multiple selling accounts in the same IP, Whatnot has to specifically approve that and know about it so that you aren't constantly getting flagged for it. Because there are sellers who sell in multiple categories and maybe do have, but it was a special approval process and they know about it. And yeah, because there are families, yes, that have numerous sellers, but they've got to set it up very carefully. And again, I know this sounds silly, but you've got to know your family and know that they aren't going to do something that screws it up for all of you. So, because they could screw it up if you have someone in your family who like doesn't do their shipping on time and gets really, really bad reviews and gets shut down. It could affect you as well. So be very careful about that. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And that's another thing about kids too. So, terms of service, children are not allowed to sell. How old do they have to be? Is it 16 or is it 13? I don't know. So, if you have kids that are wanting to sell, make sure that you're within terms of service of what that is. I don't have kids under 18 anymore, so haven't really looked it up. But whatever it is, make sure it's within. Yes, Mr. Beast might have brought us a lot of underage shoppers and possibly people who think they want to sell. So yeah, just be careful about that too. So, um, because that is a term of service too. And also be careful about um, using your kids in your shows because you could get, some people you could get some creepers in there taking pictures of your kids. You could get people in there that, accuse you of certain things. I mean, just be really careful about, you could get someone accusing you of child labor law problems. I mean, be very careful and cautious about your underage children in your shows. There was a kid selling yesterday. Huh, interesting. Yeah. So, and if you see something that you're concerned about, report it so they can investigate it because we don't need, crap on our platform that shouldn't be there. So, always report if you see something that you're concerned about. It's possible someone has a voice that sounds very childish. That is possible. So, you know, I don't know. But yeah. Um that is possible. All right. What do you guys have questions about? What do you need help with? Anything that I can guide you towards, let me know. And again, please open the show notes and scroll through and take a screenshot of everything in there. Those are all the links to the official places to go get help on whatnot. And I always tell people, please read the instructions. Do you know what I mean by that? When you buy something that needs to be put together, read the freaking instructions, right? When you come on this platform and you want to sell, please go read all of their tutorials. Go to the Seller Academy and take all their little tutorial classes about how to use the platform before, especially before you come to all these kind of shows and ask questions. And maybe you didn't know about the seller tutorial. Well, now you do. Go do all the seller tutorials and then come ask questions. Because if you aren't even willing to do the very basic read the instructions kind of stuff, then you probably don't have business on here selling yet because you haven't learned how to use the platform. It's just like anything else you do in life. If you want a driver's license, you've got to study, take the test, take the driver's test before you go out driving, right? Do the same thing on here. Go learn how to use it before, you just go live and start screwing up. Yes, put in some time to make sure you understand how the platform works. It's all out there for you. They've done an amazing job of putting together all kinds of informational videos and little mini classes, and you can go to help.whatnot.com and look up any topic, and it's all there, including videos. So it's all there. I had a new seller that didn't know to check her messages for customer service. Yeah. I mean, there's some really basic stuff like that you got to know. And here's the other thing, if you're not a techie person, I get that. Some people just struggle with technology, but there's not a lot of damage you can do by just playing with the app. Go in there and push all the buttons and see what everything does. Figure out where does this take me? What does this do? Where do I find this? Just start looking at everything and learning how to use the controls, the platform, what does it do when I press the three dots? Press the three dots every time you see them to see what it brings up. See, press the three dots. Look at all these options you can do during a live show. You can clone items, you can add coupons, you can create a poll, you can change your tip settings, you can multicast, you can raid, and you can even switch your camera preview just by pressing the three dots. Press the three dots, see what it does. What does it do if I do this? What does it do if I do this? Check things out. Learn how to use it just by investigating. Put your detective hat on and figure it out. Okay. What the Shell says, I watched a lot of sellers at first to see how they did things and learn. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Go watch other sellers and really pay attention to what they're doing, how they do things, how they organize things. You don't always see everything because, they may have their camera focused in on just a little area and it's hard to see what they have going on in the background, but you can still pick up a lot, you know. So go watch other sellers, especially watch successful sellers, and get good tips about how they do things. And it's free to just go watch. You don't have to buy anything. I know sometimes you can't help yourself. So just put on your I'm in training hat, not buying hat, and then you'll hopefully be able to do that, right? All right. Okay, I need to get going. I've got other stuff I need to get done today. Um, So if you find these shows valuable, please bookmark upcoming shows. You're so welcome. And my walk and talks have this same thumbnail, so just bookmark those. And then my, seller chats where I'm live in front of the camera look like this, or might have a specific topic. Those will be in front of the camera. I'm not perfect. I'm just doing the best I can too. I'm not the end all be all for information and help. Lots of other sellers have great information. If you don't follow House of Coop, go follow them, watch some of their shows, go join their Facebook group too. They give a lot of good tips on Facebook, House of Coop. Great sellers. They're younger than I am. Their brains are a little bit more focused sometimes than mine. They give lots of good tips. Lots of good tips. So you are so welcome. And let's go find someone to raid. Raiding is huge. Always raid. I saw a few shows yesterday where they couldn't raid. Was that an issue for anyone else? Do I need to report it? That's another thing. Because I'm part of the community support team, I have a direct link to be able to support, or to not support, to report, sorry, report, not support, report glitches. So if you see something weird happening, please message me and I can investigate it. Send me like what happened, and if you have pictures of it or examples of it, because they'll always want to know, more about it so they can investigate it. But if you see things like that happening, send me a message and I'll be able to report it. Raids are dropping. Yes, we know about that. It's been reported ad nauseum. Think it's improved the last few days. When I've been in raids, they seemed to work. It seems to be more of a problem in shows where they have a lot of people in the show, less about the people who have under 100. So, but yeah, the big shows are dropping. We call it leaving people in the lobby. So they raid and people are left in the show that ended. It's really bizarre. So they're trying to figure that out and fix it. So, but it seems to be mostly with larger audiences that's happening. So, yeah. One show was freezing and had to leave and come back a lot. And that may have been their own internet, more than likely. But yeah, if it seems to be, the ones that you watch for is where it's trending across multiple shows. And then you're like, oh, this is definitely a glitch. Yeah. All right, let's go raid someone. And let's see who's on. It's recommending for me. Let me just see who's out there. If you have someone you're like, oh, please go raid, let me know. But otherwise, I'm just gonna grab someone. Maybe we'll pick a different category. How about the Rusted Willow? Let's go raid her. So here we go. Have a wonderful day, you guys. Drop some love and make it a great day. And we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.